Preview.
Greetings and salutations, people. Welcome to ScreenJest, our movie. I don't even think it's a podcast at the moment. The show where myself and Connor get together and talk about mostly shit, but maybe movies.
Yes, and can everyone call me Holiday from now on? I want to be called Mr. Holiday.
I saw that you signed off, Mr. Holiday.
Don't ask him. Why?
Don't ask him.
Why? Don't ask him.
Why?
Because I can then say, who wants to come on holiday?
Oh no. Now I know why you said don't ask him.
Okay, yeah. Right, today, this episode 3 is...
Episode 4, if you include your little...
No, that's supplemental material. Episode 3 is... Top 10 found footage films. Found. Right.
Matt has very kindly, with the help of his wife, put together...
Well, when we say with the help of my wife, she only put...
She done most of it.
I'm pretty sure she most of it.
She reminded me of one.
Okay, she reminded you of one.
Yeah.
Did she help?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Matt has very kindly put together a list, in his opinion, of the top 10 greatest found footage films, in his opinion, of all time.
Of all time.
That's okay, of all time.
Found footage is one of my favourite subgenre of the horror genre.
And so Connor and I have the great privilege of attempting to pick apart Matt's choices like a carcass of turkey at Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
everyone
Thanksgiving,
in America. Right, okay, shall we start off then?
Yes.
Okay, in at number 10, we have The Bay. This is a 2012 film directed by Barry Levinson and written by Michael Wallach. It's kind of like an eco-horror. Basically, it's 3 separate stories that combine one film, but there's this small town that lives by a bay in America.
Try not to give too much of the plot away.
Oh yeah, there's probably going to be spoilers. I can't control myself. And they find this parasitical creature living in the fish, but the parasitical creature kind of drives everyone insane, and the town starts to fall apart. And it's kind of like the documentation of how this thing's happening, and then how it's subverted and hidden by the American media.
So, how is this one of your favourite found footage films, Matt?
I think it's one of my favourite found footage films because it's very close to the old documentary, aka the mockumentary, and I quite like the subversion in that it's an eco-horror, and what's actually killing us off and what's the actual real terror is nature fighting back.
Well, it's interesting that, it's funny that you say that. There are real life examples of parasites that I think it's something like replace the fish's tongue.
Yes,
something
that's
like
what
that.
This was originally based upon.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go.
I'll
yeah.
insert a picture of that.
Just, I'll tell you what, put it over my face, right here.
Put it over my face.
Yeah, so now I'm just a fish with a tongue parasite.
I wonder if I could actually superimpose I've got one on my tongue. Might work, might not. Who knows?
Right. Who knows? But yeah, so that was what this was originally based on.
Yes, yeah. Barry Levinson saw that thing about it's some sort of arthropod, isn't it, that replaces the fish's tongue and
it's the meal instead of the fish.
Yeah, and it also drains the fish of its blood.
Yeah,
and it's a similar thing. It's actually got a moment in this film where some fishermen catch a fish and they open up the fish's mouth and it's got these parasites in the mouth.
Right. Well, there you go.
Yeah, so I just quite like it. It's a fun little film. Ooh, fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it's really professionally made. I like it when people take these things seriously. Something I need with the found footage film is I need to lose myself in it. I have to lose myself in it or it's not good at all.
I mean, I suppose the purpose of a found footage film is the hyper-realism, is it not?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be, like you say, documentary, mockumentary style. You know, it's supposed to be as close to real as possible.
Yeah.
I'm sure that our viewers at home will recognise some more found footage films that we will get into a little bit later where this point is a lot more prevalent.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that were you able to lose yourself in it?
Not fully, but enough to actually make it on the list.
All right. So Give us one criticism of the film then. Or one criticism. Just give us some criticism.
One criticism of the film is that at one stage some of the footage is coming from a camera crew that is there to film some festivities that are going on the day, and the camera crew is I know it's shaky cam is famous for footage, but I would have expected if you have a proper camera crew there on the scene and they're documenting these weird things going on, they would probably be a little bit more steadfast in their filming.
Okay.
Steadfast.
Yeah,
steadfast. A little bit more stationary in their filming. I like it.
Yeah. Right, is that one?
Yeah.
Right.
Coming in at number 9
is Creep. Creep. It's directed by Patrick Bryce, written by Patrick Bryce and Mark Duplass. Mark Duplass also stars in it. It's on Netflix. I don't know if anyone's seen it.
Everyone's got Netflix.
Everyone's got Netflix.
It's called Creep, and it's very, very. It's kind of creepy, but it puts you out. The premise is some geezer puts an advert on Craigslist. Is it called Craigslist or Craigslist? What's Craig?
I think.
Why does Craig go?
Well, no, because people over in America call Craig.
So
it's like we're going to put on our Craigslist.
Okay. Well, he puts this advert on there and says
your brother's watching live.
What?
Who?
Your brother.
My brother.
What, Ben? What, on Periscope? Is he? Hilarious.
Right. And so this geezer puts an advert.
I have seen Creep.
And says for $1,000 I want someone just to film one day of my life.
Yeah.
So this geezer turns up to film the day of his life, and the bloke says, look, the reason I want to film the day of the life is because I got a brain tumour, I'm going to die of cancer, and I want to leave something for my unborn child to play back and say, this is a day in my life.
Yeah, makes sense.
But as the film rolls out, this bloke is very, very weird, and it turns out that all is maybe not what it seems, and he might not be there for the whole reasons that you expect him to be there. But it's the title Creep, and it's just unsettling. The bloke who plays the main character, he's just unsettling. He's just like at one stage he just puts on this furry wolf's mask and does his dance.
Seriously, though.
No, but he is just creepy, isn't he? Yeah. So it's a good little film. There is a sequel out there, but it's a good film.
Excellent. Well, I take it that Creep 2?
Creep 2.
How originally
Creep
made?
2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, Creep 2 Electric Boogaloo.
It follows on directly after Creep, and it actually uses the story and some of the characters from the. So it is.
So I've not seen. Have you seen Creep 2?
No.
No. Have you? Is it the same bloke from?
Yes,
Creep?
it's the same bloke.
It's the same
yes,
bloke.
It's
the same Creep.
I said that with my mouth.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same bloke. And
I haven't seen it, but I'll answer the question.
Yeah.
And again, he places an ad, but it follows a different line.
Okay, so it's like The Hangover. It's the same premise, ever so slightly different.
Yes, but it kind of uses the second film and reworks the film within the first film. So it is a little bit cleverer. But yes, just generally it's on there because it's quite unsettling. Not in a horrific way, just in a way that the bloke just makes you feel awkward.
Excellent.
Yeah, right.
And that's number 9.
That's number 9.
So coming in at number 8 is
The Tunnel. The Tunnel is an Australian. Again, it's kind of, I suppose, an eco horror. It's about Australia it's a mockumentary, and Australia is suffering a drought, a massive drought. I can't remember if it's Sydney or Melbourne. I can't remember where it is, but they're massive drought, and they need to get water. They're running out of water, and they decide, what about all the abandoned underground tunnels, the underground subway tunnels?
Yeah.
These throughout the years have had rain and excess water drip away into them, and there is hundreds of thousands of litres of effectively filtered water within these things. So they decide, we're going to use that. But then mysteriously they suddenly, no, we're not using that anymore, and they make no mention of it. So these reporters...
Not tunnels like that in us as well. There is genuinely in it.
No, just saying.
This is like ScreenJest's main goal, to mention us at least once per episode.
So some reporters decide, okay, well, let's go down there and see what's going on. And let's just say that there's not just water down there, there is something else down there that is the reason that they've locked these tunnels up and decided let's have nothing to do with it.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, it's really good. And do you know what? It's a film crew that go down there, and that's the reason they've got cameras. And the comedy banter between the sound guy and the cameraman is, the acting is first class. Like at one stage, the producer's talking to the other producer, who happens to be a woman, and he says, yeah, look at them over there, they're having a production meeting. And the other one goes, yeah, the only thing they're trying to produce though is semen. Just little jokes like that. Makes me laugh.
That is quite good.
But it is only number 8 on the list for one particular reason.
Yeah.
No, 2 particular reasons. One, as the film opens up, it has opening credits with the actors' names.
Takes away from the realism, yeah.
Yeah, 2. That, and the second one, in places, it is so well made and so cinematic that it does kind of
detract from the film.
Yeah, because certain bits, they do have an excuse for it being like that. They say the actual cameraman loves to do his artistic shots, but at certain places,
it's got an in-universe explanation.
Yeah,
right.
But to me, it just it took me out a couple of times, and so it's a brilliant film, really, really good, really surprising.
Excellent. Do you want to do the next one?
Yep, in at number 7. Cloverfield. 2008, directed by Matt Reeves, who went on to do the Lord of the Rings, the Planet of the Apes films, and written by Drew Goddard. Cloverfield, I think, in terms of found footage, is probably one of the ones that most of the people have seen.
Cloverfield, yes. If not, you've seen Cloverfield Lane. Was it 20? Is it 2021? Cloverfield Lane,
something like that. And then there's
Cloverfield Paradox.
Although those ones aren't found footage.
No, and we're on found footage.
And this is found footage, and it's just I just think it's kind of like I think it's underrated. I know a lot of people with found footage absolutely hate it, and they disregard it because.
What's your favourite bit?
What's my favourite bit?
What's your favourite bit of the film?
I think my favourite bit is where the little the little bugs drop off of the big monster and then they start chasing him. Yeah, I quite like that.
What about when they show you at the end? They show you the flashback of them two smiling at the beach.
Oh, you see the thing fall down. Yeah, it's got quite a big mythos. But yeah, I think a lot of people didn't like it because it's got this big Hollywood sheen to it and it's a big Hollywood movie. And found footage is kind of like a subgenre, so probably people thought, oh, you're muscling in on the crazy. But it's bloody good, and the monster is amazing. It's just really good film, and it doesn't do that thing that I hate that Hollywood films usually do and explain everything. It doesn't. It just leaves it, and hooray!
I suppose that's it, isn't it? One of the just to give my 2 cents in on your top films, is that found footage. The whole purpose of it is to be as hyper realistic as possible. You want to forget that you're there to see a film, and you want to see a story as it it's easier to put yourself in that situation.
Yeah, and I think that especially for Cloverfield, the reason I thought sometimes you get these films that aren't found footage with giant monsters, and I don't think you can relate because they're 2 giant monsters battling out.
You can't relate to a giant monster.
No, but look at Pacific Rim, for instance. I bloody love Pacific Rim, but it's giant monsters fighting giant robots.
Yeah, Charlie Hunnam's in it.
Yeah, and
Charlie Hunnam's gorgeous.
Yeah, but his name sounds like you're coughing something up. Charlie Hunnam. But I think the way Cloverfield works is because you're viewing this monster attack from someone on the street.
Yeah.
So he's genuinely in danger, and rather than just this big monster crashing down buildings when the death toll's probably in its thousands, you're actually looking at one single person who's looking up at this thing thinking, I've got to get out of here.
There's that bit where he sees someone else filming as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
And then there was a rumour that they were going to do a film from that person.
From that person.
And you see that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's been long rumoured there's going to be a sequel for a long time, a direct sequel, not one that's set in the Cloverfield universe.
The Cloverfield mythos.
Yeah.
Cloververse.
The Cloververse.
Well,
I like that.
Because the monster had no details, it was called Clover. So if you want to Google it, Google the Clover monster.
I'll say it's Clover and it comes up with butter. I'm not going to
I can't believe it's not a giant monster.
No. But also, it taps into that Godzilla thing. Joe, we love a bit of Godzilla, and it was kind of reinventing it.
Everybody loves a kaiju.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Massive monster. Do you know what I mean?
What's he grinning at?
What are you grinning at? Are you grinning at my use of the word kaiju?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, that's the proper term.
That's the proper term.
What? Kaiju-goo-goo?
No,
He's just chatting wet.
Do you know what? Sometimes we have to work with absolute amateurs, and I'm not going to mention any names, but one of them...
It's not us.
Yeah. Name starts with C and ends in honour.
Cheers. Who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, number 6. I'm going to take this because, for me, this is one of 2 films on here which I really
Can I say
really
the number
like.
6 then? Not the thing, but the actual say the number 6.
You want to go? Okay.
Yeah.
And
in at number 6.
Chronicle. Chronicle is for me personally a great film. It stars Michael B. Jordan as well as Dane DeHaan. Dane DeHaan, who people will know as the Green Goblin that played opposite Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
But the difference is these were all their breakthrough roles. So at this stage we didn't know who they were.
No, and it was great. There was also the cousin, I think it was, to Dan DeHaan's character, was played by a guy called played by a guy called Alex Russell. Let's not butcher his name. Go on.
Sorry, no, I was just going to say, it's 2012 film. It's directed by Josh Trank. It was his debut feature. He's gone on to have quite a few issues.
Yes, but screenplay by Max Landis.
Yes. Why? Because he's rumoured to be quite difficult to work with. He did the Fantastic Four, and
Which Fantastic Four? The Michael B. Jordan Fantastic Four.
And he basically got shafted from it.
I mean, I'm not surprised. It was.
No, but apparently his film is miles better. But who knows? Direct and written by Max Landis, son of
John Landis.
Yeah, American Werewolf in London. Oh, yeah.
Do you know what? Right, not Will Smith. Eddie Murphy is quoted as saying that his favourite director to work with was John Landis.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. He whenever you see him in interviews and that, he's and also he's got a sense of humour, hasn't he? Got a good sense of humour.
Who? John Landis or Eddie Murphy?
Well, I don't know. Eddie Murphy's notorious for his poor sense of humour. Well, didn't he get on with Mel B? Or was he married to Mel B?
Oh, why are you bringing this
up?
God,
I don't know.
I don't know. Didn't he have Mel B's children? Didn't he?
Yes. Just like a clownfish, he was miraculously able to transform himself from a male to a female. Chronicle, breakthrough role for at least Michael B. Jordan and Dane DeHaan. And it stars 3 teenagers, one kid called Andrew, his cousin Matt, and I can't actually remember what Michael B. Jordan's character was called.
No.
Steve!
Right.
Steve, that was it. So, there we go. And they go to a party one night, Steve, Michael B. Jordan's character, is very good friends with Matt, who then brings his cousin along.
The other two are kind of outcasts, aren't they?
No, well, not Dane DeHaan.
He's the outcast.
Is the outcast,
right,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And they go to this party anyway. Whatever happens, they end up about a mile away from the party and fall down a hole where they encounter this crystal structure that afterwards gives the 3 of them basically telekinetic abilities. They can move things with their mind, including themselves.
Yeah, that's the best bit of the film for me, when they've learned to fly.
Yes. There's something about a found footage style with superpowers.
Yeah. Well, it's quite unique, isn't it? But for me, the bit where they learn to fly, and they suddenly realise that using their telekinesis powers, they can actually levitate themselves, and they act like we would do if you suddenly found something. It's like, oh my god, I can fly.
If the 3 of us, like all of a sudden, all of our equipment blows up and we are imbued with telekinetic superpowers because of it.
What would you do?
That's a good question.
Have a fly around.
You'd have a fly around?
What would you fly to?
I'd have a fly around and make a few girls' clothes come off.
See, I'm really boring because I do people, like when you're a kid and you want telekinesis, it's because the TV remote's too far away. Or your drink can is like just that far away across the table. Oh, use the force.
Did you ever do that where you actually thought maybe
always.
Did you ever do it?
If I actually think hard enough, there's a chance.
Yes, I've thought so hard that I tried to give myself a nosebleed in terms of the amount of effort I was putting into it.
I thought so hard.
I don't have telekinetic powers.
I thought so hard that I've ejaculated.
I mean, talk about making things move with your mind.
For me, there's a scene in this film that to me is the heart of the film, and it's after they've just learned to fly and they've had a fly around and they've come back and they're sitting together, the 3 of them just sitting together in the evening, and they're just saying, "This is the greatest day of my life. I can fly." And I think that would probably be me.
Yeah,
I would turn completely evil within about 4 seconds. But yeah,
excuse excuse me.
Spoiler alert.
Yes, which funnily enough does form some of the crux of the film. If an ordinary person is given superpowers in the right situation, because we're going to go a little bit off topic here with my thing. That the Joker, Batman's arch enemy, one of my favourite comic book villains of all time, no superpowers or anything like that, is famous for saying that all it takes to make someone exactly like him is one bad day.
One bad day. Yeah.
One bad day.
Yeah,
and for me, that's huge, because especially when you're given power. To do another, comic book thing, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, you can go this way, you can go that way.
Yep.
And there is a pivotal scene, I think, in this, where one of the characters decides he's going the opposite way to the others, is he levitates this spider, and he's just looking at this spider in fascination, just like, what is this spider all about? And then just pulls all its legs off.
He goes, and just like that, rips all of the legs off of this spider, and it's at that point that he identifies himself as apex predator, which from a scientific standpoint means the chief predator among the species on the planet.
Guy again?
It is Dane DeHaan. It is Dane DeHaan. Yeah.
But it's also
I really liked Dane DeHaan in Chronicle, and I was a bit gutted when Andrew turned out to be the bad guy.
Also, something about Chronicle that I think is good is it gets to this point, they got the powers, blah, 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 they're fun about these powers, and then things start to take a bad turn. And unlike some films where it goes peaks and troughs, peaks and troughs, peaks and troughs, this just goes up, 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 up. It gets stronger, 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 stronger. The action gets tighter, tighter, and it just builds up. I think it's the closest we've seen so far to a live-action Akira.
You reckon?
Yeah, when he's completely in full, he's lost his ability, he's got his ripped clothes. I think to me that is very much like a Tetsuo moment.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really, really strong film.
And for anyone that has seen the first episode of Rick and Morty season 4, oh, thanks, Rick, you turned our son into an Akira. Akira!
At one stage, we considered calling my child before we can't just change the name of them now. Was going to be called Canada.
Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's had such an influence on my life. That
it's pronounced Canada.
And Canada's Canada.
Do you know what? Actually, funny enough, because we were talking earlier about how you were going to name your youngest Apollo.
Apollo, yeah.
After Apollo Creed.
No, not after Apollo
after
Creed.
Apollo Creed.
No, BSG.
Yeah.
If you don't know what BSG is, if you don't know, get to know.
Get the frack out.
Yeah, frack you.
yeah. So say we all.
And on that note,
we are moving up to number 5.
You can see.
Go on, John Cena. Is 2007's Paranormal Activity, written and directed by Oren Peli.
I would like to go and make the first comment on this. And the reason I want to do that is because, I saw Paranormal Activity when it obviously first came out. It was what, Katie and Micah? Am I getting that right? Am I getting that right? Yeah, Katie and Micah. And I the thing is, I can imagine it was very, 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 very similar to an even more famous found footage film, which may or may not appear in the top 10 a little bit later.
Who knows?
Who knows? But in the same vein that, when I saw it, I was like, is this real?
Yeah.
Is this actually happening right now?
And I tell you why that is, I think that does, is because, and this is one of the things with found footage that you either get or you don't get. Not a lot happens. Very minute details happen, and it's a static camera. For me, the only time the paranormal doesn't work, activity kind of doesn't work, is when they start filming other parts of the house, when it's the static camera. But for anyone who doesn't know, couple move into a house, weird things start happening, they decide one night, let's actually leave the camera running overnight. They start filming things that weird things start to happen, and then the story
fast and loose with their electric bills.
Absolutely,
and things happen from there. But I tell you,
that's such an adult way of looking at something. Oh, someone's playing fast and loose with the electric bills.
Left the camera on all night.
All night, they say.
I want to know what memory card they're using.
Oh, quite. Yes. Well, it's none of that. It's none of that 4 gigabyte memory stick.
It's got to be a SanDisk 256.
I think you'll find it probably is SanDisk 256 GB.
But
they may have even stretched to 512. Carry on.
There's a particular part of Paranormal Activity that I think is a great part of found footage, and is really, for me, scary. And it's taught near the end, and it's when they're in the bedroom, they've got the door shut, and all they can hear is something walking up the stairs. You don't see anything, all you hear is these footsteps getting louder and louder and louder. And if I put myself in that position, you'd be like, I'm not opening that door.
No.
It would kind of be like Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven.
Okay, yeah.
What's that rap tap tapping upon my chamber door?
Yes.
Do you know, it's the fear of not knowing.
I love the fact that you're comparing, when was Paranormal Activity 2007?
Yeah.
To Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
Jesus
No,
Christ.
but what I'm trying to mean is, you don't know what's behind the door, but that's where the fear comes from. If you open that door and there was a big CGI ghost going, holy boy, you'd be like, oh, let's deal with that.
Mambo Italiano.
It's always better when you see the monster.
No, I disagree.
How much better would the Babadook have been if it had been a monster all the way through?
Listen, we've just cut. Listen, because this is great. We've just come to number 5 in our list, and at this ish halfway point, we'd like to get your opinion, audience at home.
Boom.
Do you think, in a horror film, it's better to leave the monster up to your imagination?
100%.
Or audience. Or do you think it's better that you see the monster and that you understand what's going on there? What did you say?
We've been getting some abuse there on a live feed. Right.
Listen, leave a comment below on the video. Do you think it's better to see the monster or not see the monster? Matt is a not see the monster. Connor is a see the monster.
Yeah. I'll tell you why I'm a not see the monster.
Make it a good monster and I'm happy.
I'll tell you why I'm a don't see the monster. Because there are terrors in my brain that can out CGI any ones and noughts that they can put up on the screen. Do I like Bird Box? Well, because you don't see it. Yeah, I like not knowing. No, I don't particularly like Bird Box.
I don't like Bird Box.
Well,
because it's not as good as us.
I think Bird Box is stupid. Anyway,
ScreenJest.
We're not talking about bloody. What? Because they do stupid stuff.
Like what?
Well, why do you have to go to someone else's house and stay in your house?
Hang on, what?
Yeah, they all start going about everywhere.
Not
just shut the door.
You.
Yeah, well,
You'd be one of those ones that make you look at the stuff.
I'd make you look at stuff.
Children, please.
Oh, he's winding my handle.
Let's go to number 4.
4. Connor can do. I'll do the number. Connor's talking about it. At number 4 is.
Quick, get the piece of paper. Pretend you've done research.
Troll Hunter.
2010, directed by Andre Overbedon.
That was well anticlimactic, wasn't it?
That's the point.
And it's Troll Hunter.
Troll Hunter is
brilliant.
It is brilliant, but I think that what's good about Troll Hunter is it knows what it is.
Trolls.
It knows it's a found footage film,
Yeah.
and it knows that the premise is ridiculous. That they've come across some geezer that hunts trolls.
But it's see, the thing is, it's building on I suppose Old Norse kind of kind of Scandinavian sort of belief of giant trolls that exist in the forest, in the fjords.
And they eat you especially if you're Christian.
Yeah, if you're Christian, you're in trouble. But
what about those who worship the All-Father Odin, like I do?
Oh no, you'll get trampled, but you won't get sniffed out.
It's all right.
Yeah, so what it's about is a local investigative team. There's been some bear poaching going on, so they think let's work out and find out who the bear poacher is. They come across the bear poacher, but it turns out he's not there poaching bears. He is there killing bears, but to do with his purpose, and he's a government-employed troll hunter, and there is a secret government task force made to get rid of trolls.
Now, let's talk about that. Because, the only thing I'm going to say is, do you think that government-sanctioned anything just makes it so much lamer? Like, I don't know if I'd prefer this bloke to be a standalone weirdo hunting trolls.
No, I
prefer it to be him.
No, because I quite like it, because when he kills a troll, then the government do their stuff. They then move in. He kills the troll, the government move in. Like at one stage, he kills one of the trolls, and they need to hang them. We need to cover up these sheep deaths or whatever it is. So the government come in, and that's why he's been killing bears. They then put a bear in, so it looks like it's the bear that's been doing the killing. And the government officials start walking around everywhere with these pretend bare feet, making bear markings and stuff like that. I quite like that.
Also, not related, on the DVD you can watch it with the subtitles on. in Swedish, or you can watch it with an American dub.
Oh, I wouldn't want to watch the American dub. I prefer the subbed version.
Yeah, and it's good where the Prime Minister or the Prime Minister, whoever he is, accidentally at the end he lets slip about Trump.
Yeah, they genuinely have the Prime Minister, the
actual Prime Minister.
The actual Prime Minister.
The actual Prime Minister. And he actually says...
The actual Norwegian Prime Minister.
And it's generally him, and he says, we've got a problem with trolls. And he generally says that. But the thing is, they took it from a news broadcast where he said, we've got a problem with the troll field, which is a name that they give to a certain field. So they just used that and cut a bit of it off, and it makes him sound like he is part of the film.
Oh, that's great.
Really, it's just clever. And it's... They take it...
You're going to get it out, so that all two of us can see?
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
So to look forward to after this.
It's a good film. It's good fun. Yeah, it's right old laugh, and they sniff out Christians, and I love a good bit of Christian sniffing.
And on that note, let's move on to...
Number 3!
Number 3.
Rec 2.
To be specific, Rec 2, not Rec, the first one. And by that we mean, obviously... I don't know how you want to stylize it. Dot rec or dot record or dot rec 2, dot record 2.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, but it's red symbol that is symbolising of recording.
2009,
REC.
directed and written by Juan Palaguero and Paco Plaza.
I think you should apologise. We'd like to apologise. I'd like to apologise.
All right, you say it then.
But the thing is, I'm not going to bother because no, please don't. The thing, like, you could, I'm sure you gave it your best go, and that's great. But you probably fucked it right up.
What did you say?
Balaguero.
Right, and I'm going to say this: most people, if you ever look on YouTube, wherever, at people's list of top 10 found footage, Rec will be on there, and it'll be in there in the top 5.
You made this list.
No, he spoke to his wife.
That's what
my wife told me.
My wife told me what to write.
So you will find Rec in there, and
Rec 2 or Rec?
Rec. You'll find the original Rec. But this is my list, and Rec 2 kicks off at exactly the moment where Rec finishes, and they go back and they recap what's gone before, but instead of just going in as 1 or 2 people, they send in a squad of special forces. If anyone's seen the first Rec film, there's people filming. It's called What Goes On While You Sleep.
It's a Spanish zombie horror, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're filming a fire crew. The fire crew get an alert. There's an old woman locked in her house and she's screaming. They turn up. The old woman goes a bit psycho. The building gets quarantined, locked down. Zombies. Turns out, where is it zombies? You don't know. But it then finishes like that. The second film starts literally as that one finishes, and they're outside filming at that stage what's going on inside in Rec 1, and they say, okay, we've got to send the special forces in, we need to sort out this, and they go in, and it just takes what happened in Rec and it elevates the story to such a high mythos that it goes way beyond zombies, and it takes what you thought the first film, it's just a zombie blah blah blah. No, this isn't. This is something completely different. It's kind of like, although some people have mentioned it, that it's like Rec is Alien and Rec 2 is Aliens. It takes the original story and takes it much, much further.
So both Connor and I have seen Rec.
Yeah.
But we neither of us have seen Rec 2.
Yeah, I
feel like now, after that, we definitely do.
And also, what's great about Rec 2 is a lot of the cast return from Rec.
Okay.
Now you'd probably think, how do a lot of the cast return from Rec? Because there's only one survivor or whatever it was. They return as infected.
Well, there you go.
So when they go back in the building, the people that died in Rec 1 are now in the building as infected.
Again, coming back to, for me, what is the biggest point of this genre of film, found footage, keep it realistic.
Keep it realistic,
So by providing the, zombified versions of those people, it keeps that continuity running.
It does.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
And what I like is...
Why am I not seeing Rec 2?
There's a point in the film where it goes from, this is a zombie film, i.e. what Rec is, and it completely twists it on its head and it says, this is not a zombie film.
No.
Zombies were there. This is here. This is what this film is about. And it literally changes it. It's kind of like the twist. Do you know when the film Jeepers Creepers, where you think it's a serial killer, and then it suddenly turns out to be a monster, and it's like, hang on a minute, this film's turned on its head.
Yeah.
Same with Rec 2.
Okay. All right.
Brilliant.
Not with the same impact as Jeepers Creepers though.
No, it's different. But what I
Good.
mean is, it
Good.
takes what you think the premise is
And turns it on its
and
head.
it turns it on its head, and all of a sudden you're going in a totally different direction, but for the better.
Excellent.
Yeah, it turns it from just a zombie thing into this whole mythology.
I like it. Do you know what? I'm going to have to go and watch Rec 2 now, at least.
Yeah.
Out of this entire... Yeah.
Is it on Netflix?
I don't know, but
He says going on to Netflix to find out.
it's a brilliant double bill, and the reason it is a brilliant double bill is because Rec is great, but Rec 2 just pushes it over the cliff.
We may have to have a movie night, gents. Rec and Rec 2.
Yeah, but unfortunately, then
Rec 4's the best one.
you've got Rec 3 and Rec 4.
Yeah.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Rec 3
Yeah,
Genesis and Rec 4 Apocalypse.
Yeah.
The problem with both of those is they
What
abandon
about Rec Resurrection?
No, there's no Rec Resurrection.
There's no Rec Resurrection?
Is there not Rec 2 Electric Boogaloo?
Is there no
There's
Rec 2 Electric Boogaloo?
Rec 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo.
What about Rec Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back?
Or even better than that,
Rec
they should do
again.
another one called Rewind. Reboot it.
Rec 16 Rewind.
Yeah,
Rec City bit.
Rec City, bitch.
Rec 2 Rewind. Please be kind, rewind. But
Oh, do you know what, guys? I think we've voluntarily
yeah.
wrecked this.
But yeah, Rec 3 and Rec 4 abandon the found footage. And for me,
okay.
it loses it.
Amazon either.
Well, ain't gonna get us. Tell you what, ain't gonna get Rec 3, Rec 4, or Wreck-It Ralph on this list.
No, it's a Rec 2. Right, so now we move up to number 2.
Number 2.
The big boy in the group.
Sorry, 1 second. Hello there, Galet Adamar. I'm really hoping that I haven't butchered that name. Hi, how's it going?
Hi.
Welcome to ScreenJest.
Subscribe to ScreenJest.
Yes.
Sorry, we're just talking to some live people.
Yes, we love the fact that they're... what are you doing exactly? We're doing a movie podcast thing. We just basically sit down, chat about films and whatnot.
What do you doing exactly?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
Well, check out our channel, ScreenJest, and you'll see.
You've joined a tad late because we're on number 2 and then number 1 of our top 10 found footage films of all time.
But we've lost a bit of direction now because we're talking to...
I've had a question come in. Someone's asking...
We're having a nice little break.
Is Cannibal Holocaust on the list? It's a mental film. The geezer had to prove it weren't snuff.
Oh, I really like Cannibal Holocaust.
Hang on.
Someone's just asked me.
Hang on.
Oh,
Right, hang on.
Controversial.
Right, okay,
All
so number 2. We're on number 2.
Hang on, you're right. Let's bring it back.
Let's bring it back.
Number... 2.
2! The big boy.
The one.
The Blair Witch Project. 1999's Blair Witch Project, written
Just
and
the
directed
best.
by Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez. This, for majority of people, would be their first experience of found footage horror.
Yes.
It was an absolute juggernaut of a film, filmed on a minuscule budget, but where it hit home was the marketing and promotion of it. They promoted this, that it was a real life film.
Yeah. Well, no, not even a film. Sorry, just
That's all right.
I'm going to break your flow because we're being chatted to on Periscope. So the first question was who is who. You've got Connor here, who's off camera. I'm Tom. This is Matt.
Karate Kid.
And yes, you
Daniel's
are
son.
100% right.
Wax up.
Excellent.
Yeah.
But
Cultural appropriation.
cultural but back on, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Matt. Back on the Blair Witch Project. The entire viral marketing campaign of that film was geared around the fact that the 3 people that went into the forest, who, I mean, what can we remember their names?
Heather
Tom, Dick
Donahue.
and Harry.
Heather Donahue.
Yeah. Mike.
Josh Leonard.
And Michael, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
So Heather,
yeah.
Josh, and Mike.
Michael C. Williams.
Yes, go into the forest. Tell you what. Sorry, I interrupted.
There's
Please,
a local legend
carry on.
of the Blair Witch, and some 3 students decide, let's make a documentary about the Blair Witch. So they head off to the local town of Burkittsville, and they start talking to some locals, blah, 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 all filmed mockumentary style at this stage. Then they go off into the woods, and they go missing. Anyway, then their tapes, their cassettes of the video footage gets found, and this is what the Blair Witch Project is based on. What happened to these people when they went into the forest? And
if you haven't seen it, the premise, the film starts with, and they went, these 3 kids went into the forest, filmed, the camera was found, but they were never seen again.
seen.
And I'll say the worst thing about it.
What?
Don't see the witch.
Yeah. Oh God. But I'm not even going. Do you know what was amazing? One of the commitment they made to this was the 3 actors in the actual film were actually listed on Wikipedia
as dead. Yeah, they were.
And they also made a little documentary that was preceded the Blair Witch to go the history of the Blair Witch. So straight away, if you watched that, you thought this is based on a real thing.
Yeah.
And it was so cleverly marketed that
they
people
really
went
built
in thinking this was genuine. This genuinely happened.
The families of the actors who didn't play, like, you know, for example, Heather Donahue or whatever, her family, who has no idea who Heather Donahue is, I'm so sorry for your loss. They were getting cards and things like that. Oh my God.
And also,
oh mate, it's great that you do this. I watch from Mexico. Then hello from Mexico. Yes.
But one of the amazing things about this, and I think this is one of the important things with found footage film, is there was no scripting of the dialogue. The actors were told, we want you to go to this place and this is what the scene is.
Yeah.
You do it yourself. And they went and completely did all this stuff, and I think it's so much better for it. In the film, they slowly start having this falling out, and they genuinely did start to fall out because they were stuck in this woods being terrorised by a film crew.
If anybody has ever been in a situation where you've been, for want of a better word, trapped with even your best friends for a prolonged period of time...
this guy, at 3.5 minutes...
You'll realise that it's an absolute nightmare, like, and especially when you're in a really stressful situation. What I will say, and because I really like the Blair Witch Project, but very recently, well, I say very recently, I saw a episode of something called Film Theory on YouTube. Film Theory, for those of you that don't know, total plug here, is by a guy called Matthew Patrick, Matt Pat, who also runs Game Theory and GT Live, did a theory on the Blair Witch film where, Connor, there was no witch. There was no Blair Witch in the film. But, what was it?
Very interesting wall to look at.
Well, no, it's Mike and Josh who basically planned to murder Heather while she was out there. And there's a lot of good evidence to suggest that, like the fact that you don't see the witch. There's a lot of conversations that go on between Mike and Josh around...
Yeah, the map business.
The map business is huge. We won't spoil it.
No.
Like, if you've seen the Blair Witch Project, great, it's 1999, I mean, it is a wonderful film. But by that same token, if you haven't seen Blair Witch, obviously go and watch Blair Witch. But if you have seen it, and seen it long enough ago that
watch
you want to...
remake.
Stop.
No.
Stop.
No.
But you want to watch... go and watch the Blair Witch Project again. But then, to get an additional, enjoyment from it, because I did, I went back and rewatched it fairly recently, look at it through the lens that there is no witch.
Yeah.
And think about the dynamics between the three of them. It becomes, one, a very different film, but two, you will enjoy it just as much as you did the first time round.
Yeah, I think it's a clever film because it does certain things. In the start bit where they're talking to the locals about the Blair Witch, there's these stories being told about local folklore and things like that. But as the film starts to get a little bit more intense, certain things happen that tie in with the local folklore, and it makes you think, is this going on? What's going on? So I know what this is happening, but you don't. And it's cleverly made, well executed, brilliantly acted. I think it is... Apart from my number one on the list, this is the pinnacle of found footage.
I completely agree.
Horror.
Now, before we get to number one, there are a few mentions that we would like to make. Now, would you like to do the honourable mentions, or would you like to do the dishonourable
Well, let's do the dishonourable, finish low and then high.
You want to do finish low and then high?
Okay,
All right.
So these are going to be quite controversial. These are my dishonourable mentions. First on my dishonourable mentions is the film Borderlands. Now, when I put a post on Twitter and I said, can people list their top 10, their top found footage films, the Borderlands came up quite a lot.
Just before you do that, follow us on Twitter at ScreenJest.
Yeah, and also if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment and subscribe. A lot of people said, have you seen the Borderlands? British found footage film. Have you seen it? It's absolutely brilliant. I looked it up. There was lots of rave reviews about it. I thought, let's check it out. It fell flat on its face, and I'll tell you why it fell flat on its face.
Please do, that's the purpose.
Because it starts with a main character that appears in this found footage, and he's a well-known face from British TV.
Who is it?
I can't remember. You'd know him if you saw it.
Can you Google it for us?
Well known.
Yeah. And straight away I'm like, well, I know that guy.
So again, no, you've just typed you've gone for the Borderlands game.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
It's called the Borderlands.
So you've written down Borderlands.
All right. But yeah, for me, I'm like 3 minutes in and I'm snapped straight out of it.
Here we go. We'll get there.
Gordon Kennedy.
Gordon Kennedy is a Scottish actor who's not got a picture on Wikipedia. Oh, hang on, scroll up.
Gordon Kennedy.
Being Human. Who is he in Being Human? Scroll down. Alex's dad. I mean that doesn't help me, but
scroll on DB.
Just Google him.
Yeah. So straight away, I'm like, I know who he is.
Him?
Yeah.
I know who that is. Yeah.
I know who that is. I've seen him on telly loads and loads of times.
Yeah.
It ain't working.
I've not seen him on telly loads of times, but I do know who he is.
Yeah, and straight away it ain't working.
Yes.
So because it ain't working, it's not a film that I can count on my list, and
Absolutely.
it's going down for that very reason.
Second on
my list, Blair Witch. Now, Blair Witch is the third in the series. There was the Blair Witch Project. There was Blair Witch Book of Shadows, which I won't go into now because it's been slated massively. But I think it was too clever, and it was too clever for the audience.
It was
puzzles. There's lots of puzzles going on in there, and it's
not puzzle, Pazuzu.
Pazuzu. No, you're talking about Exorcist 2, the Heretic.
I am talking about Exorcist 2, the Heretic with Pazuzu.
Yeah. Have you seen Blair Witch 2?
Yes, I'm totally getting confused.
Yeah. It's got loads of hidden stuff within it that if you solve it, it's like a video. It's like a game,
like an ARG.
Yeah.
Not Pazuzu.
But I tell you why I didn't like Blair Witch, because you see the witch.
That's the best bit.
There you go. You see the witch,
and it's a giant, great CGI witch. Not with the
giant, great CGI witch.
Now
it's a big witch.
Now this is what 2016.
Blair, I haven't got a date on this about.
No, but it's the most recent Blair Witch film.
Yes.
Look at the most recent Blair Witch film for us.
And for me, as soon as you see some CGI creature marching about, that's it. I've lost it. It's gone, and I've snapped out of it.
I'll get the image.
Does that make sense to you guys?
Oh, totally. I didn't like the third Blair Witch. No, well, yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. I was looking for the actor, not so much the picture of the witch.
And it just spoiled it. The film actually is someone's going searching for the person that went missing from the first one.
Heather.
Yeah, it's the brother of Heather. But it just fills on massive amounts of levels because you see a CGI witch. Sorry for the break here, everyone. What are you doing?
Yeah, I was trying to work out. There's a guy in it whose name escapes me. What?
Right.
No, you.
What?
You.
What?
Why are we not talking about VHS and viral and things like that?
I can't fit everything on my list.
Right. Like, really annoying now.
The last one on my dishonourable mentions is going to cause the most uproar. Cannibal Holocaust.
I like this film.
It's a good film.
Cannibal Holocaust is possibly is possibly the first ever found footage film. I'll probably be corrected there, but it is
one of the earlier ones.
One of the earlier ones.
So, Cliff Notes. Why don't you like it?
Because it has live killing of animals in it.
Oh, hang on.
Who keeps knocking that?
Hang on. So the only reason you don't like Cannibal Holocaust is because of the animal cruelty.
And yet you love I'm a Celebrity, get me out of it.
I don't love I'm a Celebrity.
No, you said at work earlier.
It's not what I said at work. I've only seen Cannibal Holocaust once. I found it to be a dirty, grainy film that I felt bad about watching, and I do not agree with killing animals on film, and they do it quite a few times in that film. Well, and for me, that's what takes that to a level where I'm not. Do you know how we spoke about the Serbian film and you said no?
Yes.
This is my version of that.
Okay, that's fine. I get that. I appreciate that.
Nothing for me.
Nothing.
You were talking about Avatar about.
Okay. We're on mentions.
Yeah.
We've mentioned these for the past 15 minutes. So
those were the dishonourable mentions. We've now got some honourable mentions that didn't make the top 10, but they are worth mentioning.
VHS.
No, that's not on there.
Well, hang on. Because that's VHS. Not. But it's not your list, mate.
Oh, no. It's rubbish. Just because Dan ain't seen it, it's not on there.
Right, The Legend of Boggy Creek. Again, a really old mockumentary film.
Picked by your wife, yeah.
No, it's not.
Yes.
And it's about this Bigfooty type Sasquatchy creature, and it's a mockumentary. And the reason this is on my list is because I remember watching it when I was younger, and there's a scene when they're in a cabin and a hand comes through a window and holds someone on the shoulder, and at that stage I thought it was a genuine documentary film. It scared the crap out of me. That's on the list. Really old film, check it out, it's a good film. Right,
Next.
second on the list, Afflicted. Afflicted was mentioned by tons of people when I said about top tens. It's a film about a couple of guys that go on holiday, someone gets bitten by a girl and starts turning into a vampire. There you go, that's it. And
now, hang on, so that was on your honourable mention?
that's on an honourable mention. Yeah, check it out.
Alright.
Yeah, it's worth checking out.
Okay. Finally on your honourable mentions?
The Last Broadcast. The Last Broadcast, a lot of people thought inspired the Blair Witch. It didn't inspire the Blair Witch. They kind of made it at similar times. But it got overshadowed by the Blair Witch. The Last Broadcast, really good found footage film, and it's a good mystery as well. It's got good mystery going on in it. It's about someone who's investigating the legend of the Jersey Devil in the Barren Pines.
Okay.
Really good film.
Yeah.
So those are my honourable, my dishonourable. I know people are going to agree and disagree, especially about Cannibal Holocaust, but I've got a stand to make and I won't have it.
Now, speaking of stands, Matt,
Yeah.
we have yet to cover
Yeah.
your top number one greatest. Now, I really want to draw this out because I want people to know that if they want to, they can rip you apart for this. And it's totally fine.
I'm completely happy to people to rip me apart for this because my number one is not just number one, but my number one is a leap ahead.
Okay, so are we doing a bit of a drum roll for number one? Ready? Number one is
Lake Mungo. Mungo.
Okay.
2008 Australian film directed and written by Joel Anderson.
Yeah.
It's an amazing documentary. It is incredible. It's about this family and their daughter drowns, and
Don't you dare. What? Don't you dare.
What?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
the daughter goes
Carry on.
missing. The daughter goes missing, and well, she drowns. She's found dead at Lake Mungo.
Yeah.
And they're trying to remember her life, but it then turns out, hang on a minute, and there will be spoilers here, by the way. Turns out, hang on a minute, things are going on here. Maybe she hasn't gone. Maybe there is a ghost of her in the house, and they keep on catching. Excuse me, windy pops. They keep on catching things on films that maybe suggest there is something paranormal going on, and she isn't maybe fully dead yet.
Right.
And it's the story of this family, and it's a story, and I would say it is the saddest horror film you're ever going to see, because it's a family going through this grief and they can't let go, and then what's even worse is they're trying to let go, but there's this spirit, and it may be their daughter, and it's like, this is even more, we can't let go now.
There's no closure.
But if we're going to go into it, then it has a major twist in it, where it turns out this isn't. Spoilers. It turns out this isn't the daughter. The son was making this all up.
How?
And he was making these little things up to make the parents. And the reason he was doing it was because the mother was so distraught by the death, and because she didn't get to say goodbye to her daughter, he was doing it to get the grave exhumed so the mother could have closure and say goodbye.
Grim.
Wow.
But we have a second twist in it.
What?
Kids possessed.
No,
Ghosts.
but they find a diary from the daughter.
Yeah.
It turns out that the daughter maybe isn't all she seemed, and there might be something going on besides this haunting behind the scenes, and it may be that the daughter was fully aware of her fate, and so it turns in from. It has another twist.
What a plot twist!
And it's this family coming to not only has their daughter died,
Easy for you to say.
but it turns out that the daughter was not the girl they thought she was. She was someone else.
We've all been there.
And
yes, we have.
And she maybe had more of an insight into her own death than was a mystery. And it is just amazing. It's just the acting is spot on. The way this family are coping with the grief of the daughter is incredible. It's so heartbreaking film. And then at the film at the end, they kind of discover, they don't discover what's going on, but it kind of points you in a direction, or maybe this is what was happening all along. And then it hits you again with another twist, when maybe there is a ghost.
Yeah.
And it literally just moves this way, this way, this way, this way, but all within the confines of this mockumentary.
Amazing.
And it is literally as if... has anyone seen the documentary Metallica, Some Kind of Monster?
No.
Well, they start off filming the band, and then the band have that massive turmoil and they blow up. And so the documentary is one thing, and then it moves the other way. This is like this: the mockumentary starts filming one thing, and then they actually happen to be involved in a completely different thing, which then turns into a different thing, and then at the end leaves you thinking, was it any of that in the first place? It is just amazing. I urge you all to watch it.
I've got another.
It's incredible
recommendation for a film.
Well, I'll tell you what. Hang on, before we get into that, people at home, that concludes our top 10 list. What did you think? Yeah. If you like it, you don't like it, please let us know in the comments below.
Connor's got something desperate to say.
Connor didn't like some of Matt's picks.
I was mostly just taking the piss. I agree that it's good not to see the monster, but I know it annoys Matt.
No. What about VHS?
Yeah, no, you just didn't think.
I can't believe it.
No, I
you
did.
Just didn't think.
No, I did.
No, you didn't.
And I'll tell you why I thought of it. I thought of VHS 2, and I thought of that segment in VHS 2 where they go to the cult.
The school, they'll shoot themselves and stuff.
Yeah, right. That there, and it turns out that demon comes out the floor.
Better than some of these.
Yeah, but that's a segment within the film. The other bits were rubbish.
No.
The zombie
First
point
one?
of view, where the bloke gets turned into a zombie, but he's left his head cam on.
Yeah, it's great. What about the first one then? On Viral? Have you seen VHS?
Yeah,
I haven't seen VHS personally, no.
VHS are good found footage films, but I think the problem is they're anthologies, and you've got very weak links in there, and I can't include them on the list. That one story in VHS 2, that's directed as well by the geezer that did The Raid. I've forgotten what his name is now. No, it's not Gareth Thomas. He did Godzilla. But anyway, it's got a great segment, but you can't hold a film on one segment.
There was someone recommended to watch a film called Mr. Hands.
No,
Isn't that? No. That's Mr. Red.
Worth looking up, Mr. Hands.
I don't. I wouldn't. I get the feeling there's something really dodgy about that.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Mr. Hands, 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato.
Mr. Hands.
And on that bombshell, it's time to end the show.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning into ScreenJest this week. If you have any thoughts on Matt's choices of films, please post them in the comments below. Don't forget to like.
And if no one's seen Lake Mungo, watch Lake Mungo. Watch it.
Now you know what happens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now that Matt's spoiled the entire film for you, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, ring that notification bell, join us on Periscope where we broadcast live. ScreenJest from inside of Matt's dining room.
Inside of Matt's dining room.
And if you like the whole top 10 vibe, again, let us know. If you don't, we can always go back to something a little bit different. But you tell us.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if you do like the top 10, next time we might get Connor to put together some kind of top 10 film list.
Yeah. Top 10
well,
don't gangster films.
Well, technically, we're not specific. We will see how it goes. But for the time being, thank you guys so much for watching.
And keep jesting.